This is EBC World. A very warm welcome to the news with me, Shvaraulako, and do stay with us. We begin our stories with the following top stories. Society's delegation visited Ethio-Czech, expanding areas of cooperation. And the former Somali refugee Abdullahi Meyer gets the prestigious Nansen Award by the UN Refugee Agency. Now, suppressing gender-based violence on the African continent is a historic responsibility, President Sahle-Work Zewde said. Addressing the third AU Men's Conference on Positive Masculinity, which was held on November 27 and 28, 2023 in Pretoria, South Africa, Sahle commended South Africa's strides to stop the multifaceted violence faced by women and girls, as well as the diligent efforts being made in some other African countries that can be a benchmark for others. The president added that it is a historic responsibility to stop sexual and gender-based violence in Africa. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, alongside his delegation, visited sites related to Ethio-Czech, expanding areas of cooperation in agriculture, tourism and culture during his stay in the Czech Republic. Abiy arrived in Prague, the Czech Republic, on Monday afternoon for an official working visit. Upon arrival, the premier was received by Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, Petr Fiala, in an official welcoming ceremony at the office of the government of the Czech Republic in Prague. The two leaders, in their bilateral exchange, vowed to enhance cooperation in the fields of agriculture, mining and tourism, while also enhancing their existing cooperation in the defense sector. An Ethiopian delegation headed by the Minister of Health, Lia Tadessa, is attending the third annual International Conference on Public Health in Africa in Lusaka, Zambia. The conference is being held from November 27 to 30, 2023, themed Breaking Barriers, Repositioning Africa in the Global Health Architecture. Leah, in a post published on her social media page, stated, "Great to see many African leaders, policymakers, experts, researchers, the youth, as well as global partners coming together to deliberate on building resilience in the continent more than ever." The annual International Conference on Public Health in Africa provides a unique African-led platform for leaders across the continent to reflect on lessons learned in health and science and align on a way forward for creating more resilient health systems. And now moving to stories selected for detailed analysis. Rosa Parks, a matriarch of the civil rights movement, has been described as an old woman who was too tired to give up her seat on a bus to a white person. On December 1, 1955, following her day of work at Montgomery Fair Department Store, Parks boarded a city bus and took her seat in the quote-unquote colored section. By December 4, 1955, plans were in place for one-day boycott of the Montgomery city buses, which has brought a significant result for blacks' segregation laws. Shegawi Matau tells you more.
In 1944, 11 years before her fateful decision on a Montgomery bus, Rosa Parks was investigating a vicious crime.
Rosa Parks, the matriarch of the civil rights movement, has been described as an old woman who was too tired to give up her seat on a bus to a white person. Parks was born in Tuskegee, Alabama on February 4, 1913. Though Parks was certainly aware of the daily injustices visited upon African Americans through Jim Crow segregation laws, she was not an early activist for racial equality. On December 1, 1955, following her day of work at Montgomery Fair Department Store, Parks boarded a city bus and took her seat in the colored section. As the number of white passengers grew, the bus driver came to the colored section to move the sign so as to increase the number of seats available to white passengers. Parks decided that she was not going to get up and move to a row behind her. The bus driver called the police and Parks was arrested for violating Montgomery segregation laws.
Are you going to move?
By December 4, 1955, plans were in place for a one-day boycott of the Montgomery city buses. Parks' trial was December 5, the same day as the one-day boycott. She was found guilty of disorderly conduct and violating Montgomery's segregation laws. The boycott, however, was an overwhelming success because the vast majority of Montgomery's African-American community participated. It led to the creation of the Montgomery Improvement Association, MIA, and a young Martin Luther King was elected as the association's president.
The carpool and all we have done in this struggle continues.
Parks' place in the history of the civil rights movement has been recognized and honored by the nation. She was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1996, as well as the Congressional Gold Medal in 1999 for her role in the civil rights movement. At the age of 92, she passed away in Detroit. President George W. Bush ordered all U.S. flags to be flown at half-staff in her honor. Parks was also given the honor of lying in state in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol. She was the first woman and the second African-American to lie in state. On February 27, 2013, a statue of Parks was unveiled in the National Statuary Hall in the U.S. Capitol. That statue had been requested by President Bush on December 1, 2005, the 50th anniversary of Parks' arrest.
And finally, a former Somali refugee, Abdullahi Maher, has been awarded the prestigious Nansen Award by the UN Refugee Agency for his remarkable efforts in bringing books and education to his compatriots in sprawling camps in Kenya. Abdullahi's unwavering dedication and commitment to empowering fellow refugees through education have earned him global recognition and admiration. Goshu Melissa has more on that from Africa News.
A former Somali refugee determined books and education to his fellow countrymen facing difficult conditions in the expensive camps of Kenya has been honored as the recipient of the prestigious Nansen Award from the UN Refugee Agency. Abdullahi Maher, aged 36, earned recognition for his advocacy of the right to education.
My role is to connect the youth here in this camp to the world for better opportunities. Books open doors that you cannot imagine.
Born in Somalia, Maher and his family sought refuge in Kenya during a period of unrest when he was still a young child, spending 23 years in Dadaab, a complex of 3 camps initially established in the 1990s.
To me, my happiest moment, my highest moment is when I put a book in the hand of a needy child, a displaced child.
Despite facing what the UNHCR termed as a monumental odds, Maher not only completed his primary and secondary education within the camp, but also achieved a degree in journalism and public relations.
Let's read today. It inspires me. It gives me the energy to move on, because the impacts are clear. Books unify. Education is the greatest equalizer.
Upon meeting a young girl that dreamed of becoming a doctor in Dadaab, Abdullah Mayer established the Refugee Youth Education Hub in Kenya. The organization led by refugees has provided 100,000 books and set of 3 libraries in the camp.
Well, dear viewers, that's all the news there is for now. Thanks a lot for watching us. Bye-bye.